Warriors guard Podz. Brandin Podziemski joins us here on Willard and Dibs, as he often does. Talk a little Warriors and Valkyries as well here on 95.7 The Game. Hey, BP, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, how do you think Gabby, how would you put that into words, the way she has changed this team?
I would say all for the better. Another kind of alpha player, could create her own shot, which is, I think, something that we needed on a consistent basis. And so her doing that and then her two-way capability, I think, she should be an all-star because she really is, a game changer.
What about the veteran presence? I mean, you've been now around the association for long enough to know what that means. How much has that meant to the Valks to have a player with that sort of gravitas?
Yeah, I think it helps her being in any situation with the Valkyries. I think she's been in before. So just that calming presence of I've been there, I know what it's like. I think it's going to help all of her teammates that are around her and allow them to be calm as well.
Hey, Brandon, I wonder what you see when you look at this team in terms of true championship contention. We know they're good. They're 10-5, but we do see a lot of they handle the business they're supposed to handle, and they don't feel like they're quite there yet as far as the elite teams. Do you agree with that, and what do you see them needing to get over the top?
Yeah, I think they're close. If we're just talking about the Commissioner's Cup, I think they were third behind Las Vegas and Minnesota. And, if they beat one of those two teams, it's a three-way tie. And so, they're close. They're really close. Obviously, they've taken a big step forward from last year in what they could do. In regards to what do I think they need, I can't really put my finger on it at the moment. Because they're so close in those games. It's not like they're getting blown out by the top teams. So I think they're close. A lot of games could go one way or the other. But I think, like I said, it's been a big improvement from a year ago.
You mentioned the Commissioner's Cup, and Mark and I have this debate about how important that is to players. And so thinking about your own experience and now seeing the Commissioner's Cup for the Valks, are these tournaments, these kind of in-season things, important to players?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously for us, extra money in your pocket, you'll never complain about, and it's definitely a motivating factor. And I know for them, playing for a cause that the teams decide on and that are important to them, I know that's a motivating factor as well. And so I think it just boosts the competition early on in the season, whereas if it wasn't, a thing, maybe it's not as competitive. And so I think it's a great cause for both us and them.
Brandon, I'm going to admit right up front, this question could put you in a prickly spot.
Uh-oh.
That's not what I mean. Have fun with this. But are the Valkyries, like, of all the Bay Area teams right now, are they the closest to a championship?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably say that. I think that's a fair statement. They're really close to the upper echelons of the league, and they're in the season right now. And so I think, they're close, like I mentioned. I think they got enough pieces to do it. And I think so. But I will never count us out either, though.
That's right. I mean,
of course.
Probably should have just excused the Warriors from that to avoid some of the awkwardness. But I'm just fascinated by them in the second year because, as we saw with the Spurs this year, you kind of have to take a step and then another step. The Valks from last year, first year, they make the playoffs. Can they really take that giant of a leap, or do they kind of have to go through levels to get there, you think?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be some levels to it. I think, last year playing Minnesota, who was right up there, of being the best team in the league last year, playing them first round, I think it helps for our experience. It helped to see kind of what that takes. So for me, I think, winning a series is going to, make you even take another step and then maybe even get into a 5-game series and just all those type of things. And then a 7-game series, hopefully. I think all those steps that you take, I think it's just going to keep, leveling up the latest confidence, but also just having that calming factor in those big moments like I was talking about earlier.
Podz is with us here on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. Hey, Brandon, we're also getting ready for next Tuesday. What do you remember about draft night? What was your experience?
Yeah, draft day was really long. I know for the guys that are invited to the green room, you get on that bus around 2:30, 3 o'clock over in Manhattan, and then you got to go over the bridge to Brooklyn, and it takes a while to get there because there's traffic. And then you get there, it's a bunch of media stuff you got to do, and, by the time you sit down at your table, it's, 4 hours from when you left the hotel. So it's a long day. Getting drafted, I don't really remember much. It was kind of like a blur in the moment. I just remember having my family there, which was cool. And then, after you shake the commissioner's hand, there's a lot more media. So by the time you get out of there, it's closer to midnight. So it's a fun day for everyone that gets to experience it, taking the moment, really enjoy it because, it is once in a lifetime opportunity. So it was just a bunch of excitement and joy for me and my family as well.
The phone rings first, though, right? Like, before you get picked, did you get the phone call, and who was it calling you?
Yeah, I think it was maybe Mike. I wasn't sure who called my agent, Bill. He was at the table with us, and you kind of know at the draft because all the cameras start to, bum rush you and get ready to announce it on TV. So that's kind of how we found out. But like I said, it was a surreal moment, which was really cool.
And you're in there and you're wondering like where you might go. Was there a spot where you thought you might go? And did you go ahead of it, behind it, or was it exactly kind of where you thought it might play out?
Yeah, I knew just based on talking to Brooklyn that I wouldn't fall below the 21st pick. They obviously had 21 and 22, and so I wouldn't fall below that if I was to get there. So I know that was kind of like the bottom of where I could go. A bunch of teams, 13 through that range really liked me, so I figured anywhere between 13 and 21 was where I would go, and obviously I ended up 19, so what a perfect fit.
Love it. Brandin, I also, with the draft coming up, you don't have to name any names, but do you have any thoughts on what kind of a player could be added to your team that would be good for you?
Yeah, I think the obvious answer is just someone who's ready to play, who you can play right away, someone that has experience, is physically mature enough to play in the games right away. I think that's kind of where, as an organization we're at. We're kind of at a stage where we're trying to win as much as we can. And so I think with the 11th pick, you just got to look for a guy that's, ready to come in and make an impact right away.
Do professional athletes, be honest with us here, BP.
We're all friends.
Do professional athletes watch the draft and worry about the position of who gets picked? Because what if they pick someone that's at the same position as you?
No, I don't think so. It's really, at least for me, the last 2 years, and I know this year, I'm just going to see who we pick and, just welcome them with open arms, just like, a bunch of guys did for me when I got drafted, and really just try to be a mentor in any way I can for whoever we bring in. I think that's just part of our culture at Golden State. The guys who've been there mentor the young guys, and it's just like a revolving door. So whoever we pick, I'm going to be super excited for it, and we'll be excited to have them come for Summer League.
I'm looking at the NBA.com mock draft of your draft, and they had you mocked to the Warriors, and it says you strengthened your case at the Combine, leaving scouts more confident that his shot-making, playmaking, and rebounding can translate. How spot on was that scouting report for you?
I mean, I think it was spot on. I do agree that the Combine helped my case. I had, 2 really good games, scrimmages-wise. And the feedback I got best was my interview process. I was able to remember things, put things in a perspective where I kind of knew what I was talking about, and it really helped my case. So it was good to see a bunch of guys, kind of those fringe guys, play in the Combine this year as well.
Podz, circling back to tomorrow night and the fact that Minnesota is in town to take on the Valkyries. This was a difficult matchup for them 2 weeks ago. I think we spoke to you right before they were going to be in Minnesota, and it was a great game, and they lost by only 3 points. What'd you think of that matchup, and what could turn it to go the other way?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Minnesota, they haven't played yet with Nafisa Collier yet. And Olivia Miles, I think she missed only like 3 shots last night in LA. So, she's kind of the head of the snake when it comes to that. Her pick and roll abilities, pretty much top tier as a rookie. And so, I think she's just a key to that. You know, if you try to take her out of the game, you know, I'm sure Natalie and her staff will have different things that she's going to try to do, maybe a little bit differently than last time. But like I said, all those upper echelon teams that the Valkyries are playing against, they're right there, like just a few possessions here or there. And so that's why I got confidence that, you know, we can make something out this year.
All right. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Are you into Team USA tomorrow?
I'm not a really big fan. Obviously, I'm always going to root for USA and win some games.
And then what about the draft? What do you do for the NBA draft?
I'll probably just watch it on my TV with my family. Nothing too special. I know my dad's going out there actually to speak for the parents that are invited to the green room. They asked him to come out there and speak to the parents of just experience and what it's like. So I know he's excited for that. He's going to be out there, but I'll just be at home probably watching on my TV.
Okay. Is his advice to the other families like look happy no matter what? Like what does he say?
I think for him, he felt it was right to do it just because he's been able to experience kind of every level of, you know, the goods, the bads, in the middles of being a parent and seeing your son, you know, do good, do bad, the praise, the critics, everything in between. He's got this experience. So he just told me he thought it was right for him to pass that on to the, you know, future NBA parents. So that's kind of his thing behind it.